something that a lot of people who are not native speakers from other countries, they ignore them. They say, we're not, we were not, instead of we weren't. He did not, instead of he didn't. They say, you are, instead of you're. They say, she is, instead of she's. They do this all the time. People don't want to use those contractions, but native speakers understand it makes things move along much faster. Much, much faster if you contract these words together. So it's a true sign that you've mastered your spoken English when you're making these contractions. Because then you're like a native speaker. You're connecting these little words together so that it saves time.
Contractions. We use these words so much that we usually contract them together. For non-native speakers, contractions seem to be one of the last things they master. And yet they're easy enough to do. In many instances, if you don't use them, it's a dead giveaway that you're not a native speaker, no matter how good your speech is. Don't.
Now, when you're practicing this, you don't really need to say do not. You don't need to say the uncontracted part, right? I have it on there so that you understand. Just so you understand. But actually, I think it's better for you just to practice the contraction. And you've got enough time if you don't say do not, you've got enough time to say the contraction twice, I think. So when it comes up, say don't. Can't. Try and say it twice.
Can't.
Yeah, so you get more practice. And it's deliberately very fast moving. I made it very fast moving because that's the context that you use these words in. You need to practice them very fast. And it's a very economical way to learn because you get to practice all of these contractions in probably less than 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay. Can't.
Contractions seem to be one of the last things they master. And yet they're easy enough to do. In many instances, if you don't use them, it's a dead giveaway that you're not a native speaker, no matter how good your speech is. Don't.
Is not.
Isn't.
I am.
I'm.
He is going. He has gone.
He's going. He's gone.
He's going. He's gone. Jean is going. Jean is gone.
Jean's going. Jean's gone.
Jean's going. Jean's gone. It is.
It's.
So just to clarify, the method then is don't pay any attention to what, I don't mean don't pay any attention, but don't read what she's saying. She's reading the uncontracted part. Don't even try to say it is. You just say it's with her, and you say it with me. You just say it with the 2 people on the left, not the other girl.
Okay. X.
It's.
It's. Does not.
Doesn't.
You are.
You're.
They are.
They're.
We are.
We're.
Are not.
Aren't.
I will.
I'll or you'll.
You'll. He will.
He'll or she'll.
She'll. It will.
It'll.
We will.
We'll or they'll.
They'll. Will not.
Won't.
I have.
I've. You've.
You've. They have.
They've. We've.
we've, have not,
haven't,
haven't, has not,
hasn't,
hasn't, he had or he would,
he'd,
he'd, it had,
it'd,
it'd, had not,
hadn't,
hadn't, I would,
I'd, you'd, she'd,
I'd, you'd, she'd, it would,
it'd,
it'd, would not,
wouldn't,
wouldn't, was not,
wasn't,
wasn't, could have,
could've,
could've, could not,
couldn't.
couldn't.
Now we're going to work with some common word endings or suffixes. Now these endings are unstressed. Treat them like weak forms. We're going to practice dialogues that employ both word endings and contractions, killing two birds with one stone.
Okay, so now you've got all these exercises that practice two things, word endings and contractions. So let's take a look at one of those. Got a lot of those. This is able and ibble.
These endings mean able, can do, manageable, reliable, sociable, manageable, reliable, sociable.
Invisible, enjoyable, portable,
And look, you were talking about learning the numbers, and those things. Every time you do like a lesson like this, you've got, you've got the right number written right over the vowel, the 3Y, 3. So every time you do a lesson like this, that reinforces their learning of the number system.
Enjoyable, 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 enjoyable,
enjoyable, portable,
portable, visible.
It'd be manageable if
Go ahead.
It'll be manageable if it'll be more reliable. It'll be manageable if it'll be more reliable.
Yeah, well, you're kind of saying it'll be instead of it'd.
It'll be manageable if it'll be more reliable.
It'd be manageable if he'd be more reliable.
It'll be manageable. It'll be manageable if it'll be more reliable.
Pretty good, pretty good. But you've got just a little bit of a voice release at the end of he'd. You're kind of going he'd, but you bring a little duh at the end instead of he'd.
It'll be manageable if it'll be more reliable.
No, you still kind of got, in tapping that D on he'd, you're putting a little bit of a voice release at the end. So listen to me. Listen to the difference. This is with the voice release, like you're doing it. He'd. That's wrong. Without the voice release, it's he'd. Yeah, there's really not that little vowel at the end. It's a very subtle difference.
It'll be.
Yeah,
It'll
You
be.
gotta just tap that D, but be careful not to add that little sound at the end. It'd.
It'll be manageable if it'll be more reliable.
Now try faster.
It'll be manageable if it'll be more reliable.
Yeah, you see how much faster it is. That you can say that so much faster than if you said it would be manageable if he would be more reliable. Look how much more effort it takes to say that, right? It takes twice as long to say it that way. It would be manageable if he would be more reliable. No, it'd be manageable if he'd be more reliable. The whole thing picks up doubles the speed when you use those contractions.
It'll be manageable if it'll be more reliable.
It'd be manageable if he'd be more reliable.
It'll be manageable if it'll be more reliable.
Yeah.
If he'd be more reliable. It'd be manageable if he'd be more reliable.
He couldn't.
He couldn't be sociable. He couldn't be sociable. He couldn't be sociable.
And you see, even it doesn't even sound right to a Native American if you don't make the contraction. If you say, he could not be sociable, it just doesn't sound right because it puts too much emphasis on the could not. Yeah, he could not be sociable. No, he couldn't be sociable.
He couldn't be sociable. He couldn't be sociable.
Yeah.
He's sociable.
He couldn't be sociable.
He could have been invisible. He could have.
He could have been invisible.
He could have been. Could have been.
He could have been invisible. He could have been invisible.
Could have been invisible.
It doesn't sound enjoyable. Isn't that a portable phone? It doesn't sound enjoyable.
Yeah, and I had to use the word portable. I had to find a way to use it, even though it doesn't make sense. Nobody says portable phone.
Portable phone.
Nobody says portable phone. They say mobile phone or wireless phone. Nobody says portable phone. But sometimes when you have to make up these sentences, you have to make allowances for that. It doesn't always make a lot of sense. It doesn't sound enjoyable. Isn't that a portable phone?
It doesn't sound enjoyable. Isn't that a portable phone? It doesn't sound enjoyable. Isn't that portable phone?
Isn't that a portable phone?
Yes, it's cellular. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes, it's cellular. Yes.
Cellular.
Cellular.
This is a word that in other countries they don't use it. But in this country, they don't call them mobile phones. Nobody does. They call it cell phone.
Cellular. Yes, it's
That's a
cellular.
good English lesson actually right there. In this country, nobody says mobile phone. They say cell phone. C-E-L-L, cell phone.
Yes,
So
it's
a cell
cellular.
phone is cellular. Cellular.
Cellular. Yes.
Cellular.
Cellular.
It'd be manageable if he'd be more reliable.
He couldn't be sociable.
He could have been invisible. It'd be manageable if he'd be more reliable.
He couldn't be sociable.
He could.
Okay, you try.
He'd be manageable if he'd be more reliable. He couldn't be sociable, and he could have been invisible. He'd be manageable if he'd be more reliable. He couldn't be sociable. He could have been invisible.
Right, and try and with the yellow-coded vowels, I try to play those a little more like stage one. I try to that way you get a little more out of the practice. At the same time you're practicing the major vowels if you pay attention to the color coding. So I'm going to do a good number 6 on manageable. And a good number 3 on more.
More.
And of course a 21 on sociable. It'd be manageable if he'd be more reliable.
He'd be
He couldn't be
manageable.
sociable. He could have been invisible.
It'd be manageable if he'd be more reliable. He couldn't be sociable. He could have been invisible.
Once more.
It'd be manageable if he'd be more reliable. He couldn't be sociable. He could have been invisible.
Could have been invisible.
It doesn't sound enjoyable. Isn't that a portable phone?
Yes.
Sound enjoyable. It doesn't sound enjoyable. Isn't that portable phone? Yes.
But
yes.
try it the first time through. See, this is a good way to teach this too. To hit all of those color-coded vowels, because that way you'll be putting more attention on the important words, and that will make the contractions even more effective, because now they're just something to get over with fast, to get to the important words, to get to the operative words, to get to the color coded. It doesn't sound, it's so fast, it's just, it's just a connecting thing. It doesn't sound, 51, enjoyable, 3Y. It doesn't sound enjoyable. You see what I mean? If you play the color coding and make that more important, that helps make the contractions just keep their place. They're just something to go through very fast. It doesn't sound enjoyable. Isn't that a portable, number 3? Isn't that a portable phone? Yes, it's cellular. And again, play the green color coded too.
Okay.
It's cellular.
It doesn't
Start saying
sound enjoyable. Isn't that portable phone? Yes, it's cellular. Once again, it doesn't sound enjoyable. Isn't that portable phone? Yes, it's cellular. Once again, it doesn't sound enjoyable. Isn't that portable phone? Yes, it's cellular.
It doesn't sound enjoyable. Isn't that a portable phone? Yes, cellular.
It doesn't sound enjoyable. Isn't that a portable phone? Yes, it's cellular.
Yeah, you see, especially when you get it into a fast-moving context like that, then the